and welcome to Speedrun Sewing. And in the past 2 weeks since I started sewing, this is what I've been able to do. And this is a trouser. That has been my first speedrun. I want to work on how to sew a trouser. It's been an interesting journey, and I want to quickly run through how I got here, what the experience has been so far, at least for the past 2 weeks. And if you're also starting how to sew and get started with maybe an industrial machine or whatnot, some of the things to keep in mind. So these are the things I've learned within the past 2 weeks since I started sewing. I made some notes down, so let's go through them. When I say getting started with sewing, I had never sewn anything before. The only thing I had in common was the fact that my mom used to sew, and so when I was a kid, she's sewing and all of that. I could see the machine, how it works, and all of that. Didn't understand at the time, but at least I appreciated sewing. And once in a while, I'll use the hand stitching to do a few alterations to my trousers. But about 2 weeks ago, I got the Gemsy industrial sewing machine. That is what you can see here. Is the digital version. It's great. I've gotten up to speed with it, and I'm going to talk a bit about that in this video, which machine to get and whatnot. This machine that I'm looking at is I'm going to put the exact version on the screen for you to see. It's got these gibberish numbers. The exact one I wanted, I couldn't find it here in Koforia, so I got a different model, which it's not far off in terms of the functionality, but it gets the job done. And then managed to assemble everything myself. So one of the things is I wanted to get my hands as steady as possible in this journey and speed run through everything as much as possible. So I had to assemble the entire thing myself. Fortunately for me, the version I got is not complex enough to assemble in terms of the machine, because it comes in a big box, and out of the box, you have it set up. The motor and everything is made internal. So all you have to do is just slot it into the desk and you're done. Pretty much that's all it takes. And I had to learn how to thread, which has been interesting because the tutorials I found online regarding how to thread this machine, there were similar ones, and whenever we would do it, it just wouldn't sew the way we expected it to, except we had to follow the manual. So for the first time in my life, I'm actually going through the manual and taking it seriously and managed to thread it. There's a video of how to do this exact model. I'll put that in the description if you want to check it out. If your model is exactly this or something in the series. So if your model is not exactly this, the results might be different in terms of how to thread it. I've gotten familiar with the digital part of it, so it's got some controls that I think I'm going to show on the screen where you can program a few things. So
numeral plus, numeral minus, trimming off, trimming on, front double tacking, front forward tacking, off, front tacking.
The number of automatic tacking it can do for front and back regarding whether when you start sewing and when you end sewing, how it goes about it. If you wanted to cut your thread for you, it's also able to do that automatically. You can adjust the speed. So when you press on I don't know how to call it, the accelerator, the speed it goes, you can regulate that as well using the controls, which I've set it to the lowest possible so that I can continue sewing. But yeah, within the past 2 weeks, I've tried to learn a lot about this. I'm currently good at the threading part, at using the sewing machine, the basic functionalities of it. And considering 2 weeks ago, I had no idea how to use any of this. It's been an exciting journey so far. And that's how come I got this result. I'm going to talk a bit about getting this result, some of the difficulties, some of the mistakes I've made. This looks terrible. You might not be able to notice that on video, but I am excited about this result simply because it's a ton of progress I've made within the 2 weeks. I am definitely speedrunning my way through sewing. There is a lot more I need to learn. By getting good at the tools I'm using, I should improve on the quality of results I get. In trying to get started, one thing I've done a lot is watch tutorials. And one of the tips I've received so far and has stuck with me has to do with one video I saw. The lady has been sewing for 15 years plus. And the first tip she gave was sewing is 50% ironing. And as weird as that sounds, it's similar to what photographers will be like. Photography is 50% light. Well, it sounds crazy, but fundamentally, it makes sense. And I've tried it within the past 2 weeks. And if your fabric is very flattened, if your fabric is well pressed and you are stitching, it looks really nice. The stitching looks nice and the results looks nice. Currently, I do not have a steam iron. I'm currently using this Philips OG iron, but yeah, it gets the job done for the meantime. But yeah, that has been one tip that has stuck with me. I've watched a ton of tutorials regarding how to sew a trouser, and in the process, I've learned different things across board regarding the machine, regarding the pin, the needles to use, the threads, how to fix my bubble if there is an issue, how to resolve basic stuff, threading. Threading the needle and all of that. These are little things I've picked up over the course of 2 weeks, which I hope to finalize a trouser, the journey by the end of this month. That would be my speedrun task for this month. Next month, we'll move to something else. Aside watching a ton of tutorials, I have friends who help me with specific questions regarding how to sew for the kind of environment we are in. So how to sew the trouser, and in doing that, there's been a lot of issues regarding my understanding how do I describe it? How to plot how to plot the 3D results. So the mental picture of it, the front leg front, so front leg right, front leg left, and then the back two, placing the pockets and whatnot. I currently do have a playlist that I use to reference quickly just to get a better understanding of some of the steps involved. In watching the tutorials, I'm finding different ways to do the same thing, like the back welt pocket. Some of the steps are different in terms of how to go about it. The end results usually look clean, but I'm just trying to find out which one works best for me and stick to it. Side pockets, the same thing, and also the zip. The zip, I found a tutorial from this Nigerian lady, which is super simple to follow. I enjoy using it, and that's currently the process I use. I think I'll put that also in the description as well. I've learned the basics from how to sew, and again, it's purely basics. I have friends guiding me as and when I have specific questions. I watch them and observe how they sew, and through that process, I'm able to ask very specific questions. I'm able to learn how they're doing it, which is something I'm mostly interested in regarding this whole sewing process, like how they're doing it. Also, where to get materials has been an important factor for me. So currently, I know all the spots here in Kofodia where I can get the accessories I need. So where to buy material, where to buy my thread, my accessories like rulers, the tape measures, lining, gray bafts, all those materials that I would use. What do you call it? Stiff, the medium version. Some of the terms to use when I go to buy, where to go for what kind, what stores to also go in and be like a good boy, because there's one shop here in Kofodia that every single seamstress or tailor I've spoken to has something to say about the woman who works there, and it's been an interesting. I've had my fair share of being screamed at, but yeah, all the spots to get what I need regarding sewing here in Koforidua. I've also gone through all of them pretty much to see what they have in store, and in case I need something, where to go for what. That is how come I have this results. It's pretty much good for someone who started from 100% scratch in terms of trying to get the trouser sewn. I like the results, but there's a lot of improvements I'll have to do, especially with finishing. The finishing is terrible. It doesn't look nice. The sewing lines goes just like that, which I am getting better at it. With time, I hope with experience, these kind of skills will come naturally as I sew and sew more. But yeah, so far, this is the results. I'm able to wear it. I use my measurements, and yeah, so far, that has been the experience. I also managed to get a few items from Amazon, and that was an opportunity for me to also try out the Gully Express. If you have no idea, I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can read a little bit about it or watch a video explaining what the whole process is. So I managed to use it and got myself got myself this Caesar, a rule, is it ruler? A ruler, and then a few other items, and hopefully would get needle that would work for my machine, and also some threads eventually, as and when I need. But most of these materials, I can find them here in my local area. This is also part of what I got from Amazon. It's pins, and they're really sharp. I enjoy using them compared to the ones my friend gave me. This is able to go through even thicker material. So that has been the journey so far for the past 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks, I'm going to wrap up and touch up with the trouser, make sure the finishing is good, and hopefully get a good result, as in wearable result. Then I would move on to another speedrun task for the next 4 weeks. So if you're new to sewing and you want to follow the journey, some of the things I've learned, I will be talking about it. If you want to see some tutorials as well, as and when I move on, I will be talking about those as well. Come along with me as I speedrun sewing and learn new things with time, and as and when I keep going, I'll be sharing them with you. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve my sewing and speed up my learning process as well, I am more than happy to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for joining me on this one. If you want to follow along with the journey, also subscribe and be notified as and when videos drop by clicking on the notification icon as well. Thanks for joining me in this one. I hope to talk to you in the next. Bye.